WrestleZone presents Lost in the Midcard. Here are your hosts, Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black. Oh, yeah, baby. Welcome to the podcast where we've only got one word for you. Eat. It's Lost the Midcard. Welcome to our 2025 Royal Rumble review show here. What a wild night it was. For those joining, thank you. And if you have not done so already, if you're new to the show, make sure you head over to WrestleZone on YouTube, all one word, WrestleZone. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon. That way you know every time the channel goes live. We will go live. Where'd Matt go? Matt disappeared. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Did you hit the wrong button?
Computer issues. Yes, my bad.
Hit the bell icon as well to make sure you know when WrestleZone goes live. We go live typically 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central, but I'm off work today, and we got a lot to talk about with the Royal Rumble, so we are here 10 minutes early for you here. And so if you have not done so, also give us a big thumbs up on the videos as well. Help us get this out to as many people as we can, and join in on the chat and everything like that. Again, speaking of the chat, thanks to everybody already in there. We got Mark Cho saying he's alone, but he's not alone because Ozzy's here rooting for the Eagles on Super Bowl Sunday.
Of course he is.
And of course, Mark Cho's eaten already. Matt had to drink. I guess Ozzy says Matt had to drink. So,
dude, if I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna drink right on the air. Like, I'm not gonna hide my screen to have a drink.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, JB Huskers. As always, my co-host, he is on those as Raw F Showtime, Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Royal Rumble ended with a big surprise that I dare anybody to claim that they saw coming.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. I'm pleasantly surprised that the road to WrestleMania is not as blatantly as predictable as people wanted to believe that it was going to be. So
yeah,
this could be fun.
Yeah, the amount of people I saw predict Jey Uso was 0.0.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Though a lot of people pick Charlotte Flair. I was picking her since last summer. You can go back, check the tape. I picked her and Punk. I never wavered from those. But Jesus, Jey Uso, and then it gets down to Jey, Logan Paul, and John Cena. I'm like, oh no, not Logan Paul, not Logan.
When Logan Paul was in the final three, I was worried because there have been those reports of like, oh, they might want to do Gunther and Logan Paul at WrestleMania, and I'm like,
yeah,
and I'm like, please don't.
I was worried.
Do this. And as soon as Paul went out, I'm like, all right, I'm good with whoever wins. Pretty damn sure it's Cena, but I'm good with whoever wins. And when Jey Uso won, I was just like, I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. I love it, but I couldn't believe it.
When Jey won, I thought the rumors of Rock at 31 were gonna happen. I'm being like, oh God, please don't. But thank God the graphic showed, and they ended the broadcast with Jey Uso still the Royal Rumble winner.
Love the fantasy book, the 31 entrant. It's seemingly every year at this point.
Yeah.
And I think as long as people continue to fantasy book it, WWE will continue not to entertain in any way, shape,
even more so now with Rock and TKO. I mean, was that a thing last year? I don't remember it being a thing last year.
People always every year I hear about people speculating about the mysterious 31st entrant. So
yeah. Well, it made sense that The Rock could because he's got the TKO power. But Ozzy in the chat is Jey going after Cody. No, I think he's going after Gunther.
He made it pretty clear in the post show scrum that his target was Gunther.
I assume now Cena's going to enter the chamber. I think that's already been confirmed.
Yep, Cena also confirmed at the post-match scrum that he's going to, that ballsy, crazy old man son of a bitch is going to enter the Elimination Chamber, and
maybe he wins that.
And I think he's going to win it.
Him and
I
Cody.
think the safest thing for him would be to enter a pod, come out sixth when half the people are already eliminated, and stay in the square.
Yep.
Don't go fighting out on the grates. Just stay in the square.
Well, at least now they got padding on the grates. At least now they got padding on the grates. It's not straight up grates, but
it's still pretty rough out there. Outside the ring, those bumps on the floor and on the actual chamber itself, pretty rough. So I hope I wouldn't be surprised if WWE's like, "See, do you want to win the Rumble?" And he's like, "Well, what's your plan for the other match?" Or we want to do Jey Uso and Gunther, and he's like, "Why don't we let Jey win the Rumble? I'll go in and do the." Because Cena, there's no way Cena doesn't have so much creative power over what he's going to do this year. So that would not surprise me in the least that he was just like, you know what, let's make a cool moment for Jey, and I'll go win the chamber match.
Yeah. Dedrick on Twitter.
Awesome.
Dedrick on Twitter, thanks for joining us, man. Hard to imagine Gunther losing 2 years in a row at Mania, but
you can't. Jey can't lose.
No, he's already lost. At this point,
you will destroy him. Yeah, he's lost to Gunther quite a few times now.
He's lost to Gunther once for the Intercontinental title and once for the World title, as recently as the main event last weekend. So
Jey is literally in a must-win situation at WrestleMania. He has to win. Like there's no other way for him.
Yeah. No Becky Lynch. She wasn't even in town. So that was not a surprise to I mean, it was planned. So she's just not ready to come back, which is perfectly fine.
And it's not like, let's be fair. Like, look, I love Becky. I can't wait to see her back. But it's not like the women's division is in desperate need of Becky to be back right now. The division's stacked. It's very evidently clear we're about to get, Roxanne Perez up on the main roster sooner rather than later. The NXT women's division is so deep, it's insane. Like, I still think Jordan Gray should be going to Raw or SmackDown. I don't think they need to add her to that NXT women's division right now, which is already insanely stacked as it is. You put Roxanne and Jordan on the main roster right now. Alexa Bliss just came back. Charlotte Flair just came back. Look, let Becky have off all the time she needs. There's no rush to rush her back.
No.
To the ring right now. She's not really needed at this moment. Like, if let's say a serious injury went down, like heaven forbid, Rhea Ripley gets injured tonight on Raw, then you bring back Becky Lynch. That's like in case of emergency, break glass.
Yeah.
Thank God we have Becky on standby, because we can just pull her in and do something else. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I don't want to see anything happen to Rhea. But like I'm saying, if a big name went down on the road to WrestleMania, that's when you call in Becky Lynch.
Yeah. And I understand the hate on Charlotte because she's just pushed a lot.
Well, everybody knew, like, as soon as they announced her for the Rumble, like, you knew she was going to win.
But the hate on Jey Uso, but I mean, again, I'm saying hate as a very vocal minority is basically what you see on Twitter and on the YouTube comments and the Facebook comments. Those are a vocal minority because you saw the goddamn pop at the end of the match when Cena got kicked out and both of his feet touched the floor. That arena, that stadium erupted. 70,000 people erupted. He's been the biggest merch seller. He's had the biggest ovations for well over a year now, because I went back and watched the 2024 Rumble. The Yeet thing was just getting started with the crowd participation. Obviously, Backlash France is where it really took off, and was a really amazing sight. And then, of course, every crowd from there on kept it going. So you got to keep in mind the people bitching are very vocal minorities. And, basically the casual, the gigantic fan base, the people that make up the most in the fan base, were happy to see him win. So I was still a little shocked and surprised, even at the hardcore, the IWC. I was a little surprised that they were a little pissed off at Jay winning over John Cena. You were bitching about John Cena for 10 years. Right?
It's very weird.
You were bitching about John Cena.
I had a friend who went to the Rumble over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I believe he messaged me on Friday afternoon, and he said, if by T-shirts alone of what he was seeing with the fans there in attendance that weekend, he said by T-shirts alone, Jey Uso is the most over guy in WWE, and it's not even close.
Absolutely.
So when he said that, and then he went and won, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not really that surprised. That's not something Vince would do.
No.
But that's something the new regime might do. And it's smart.
I applaud him.
Create new main event stars for your future. This is what we were begging for 10 years ago. Instead of just using the same part-timers and the over-the-hill talent 10 years ago, like we were like, make new main event stars.
Yeah.
This made, like, I know he's called main event Jey Uso, but this made a new main event player for WWE for years to come, as long as they follow through with it and he wins the championship at WrestleMania. He has to win.
This is just like old school WWE, where you paid your dues for a long damn time and then you finally break through. The Shawn Michaels story, the Bret Hart story, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H even. Those guys were in the business for a long damn time before they finally broke through. It's not like today, or even, obviously like guys like Brock Lesnar were an exception coming in because he's a freaking nature. Jey Uso's almost 40, so he's not a spring chicken, but he's now new to the main event scene. But he showed you at Saturday night's main event in his match with Gunther, he belongs in the main event scene. He's shown you on countless main events of Raw, SmackDown, that he belongs in the main event scene. Now,
I mean, I'd argue that age is just a number anyway.
True.
And let's be real here. I don't think a lot of wrestlers really hit their prime until they hit around 40. Like, there's a lot of great wrestlers out there right now doing kick-ass things in their 50s. Like, age is just a number, and it's something that fans for some reason want to fixate on. But to me, most wrestlers are hitting their prime in terms of their in-ring work, their creative, their mic skills, the nuances of everything that they do right around the time that they're 40. So I don't see any problem with Jey Uso being in the spot. I think it's great to have another main event player in WWE, and I think it's a slam dunk title victory for him at WrestleMania in April.
I loved just before you get into the gorilla position, after the show went off the air, video surfaced of Jimmy welcoming him backstage, and Jacob Fatu even welcoming him backstage. I thought that was a very cool moment for those guys to break kayfabe. I mean, we're all smart. We're all adults now. We all know that they're, you don't have to, you can break kayfabe and it's perfectly fine. I thought it was great that Jacob was there for Jay. Now I'm going to pivot to...
It's all in the family, man.
Exactly. I'm going to pivot to Cena now for a minute. I wanted Cena to lose. I wanted it to kind of be like an HBK moment right before WrestleMania 26, where at the time, you thought he had to win the Rumble to face Taker in the rematch. And then Batista knocks him out, and you think, oh, he can't get there again. And eventually, obviously, that's where we wind up at the end of an era in another great match, which was a follow-up to, again, probably my number one match of all time, Taker and Shawn at 25. And they did it again at 26. But I thought this would be like a heartbreak moment. I almost kind of think Cena's going to be around all year, as you've said on the show before. He ain't going away at WrestleMania. So I'm wondering if they continue this what if and he doesn't win it until SummerSlam, or break the record at SummerSlam or Survivor Series, and he retires at Survivor Series. But do you want him to win it at WrestleMania?
One, I wouldn't be surprised if they make sure there's a December PLE pay-per-view this year.
December to December?
Well, just a December pay, like a TLC or something.
I used to have Armageddon back in the day.
Yeah, just so they could have John Cena's final PLE match in December instead of at Survivor Series. So that would not surprise me. Here's the thing. If Cena's going for the title at Mania, he has to win. Especially if it's against Cody. Because if Cody beats him, that could set a dangerous precedence for how the fans will respond to Cody going forward.
Oh, yeah.
And
unless Cody,
unless Cody and
the AEW fans turned on him.
Unless Cody and WWE are prepared to turn him heel, and I don't think either side is. If Cody and Cena is the match at Mania, Cena has to win.
Yeah.
Because Cody will eat that heat for a good long while if he doesn't.
MK in the chat. Whoa, you guys started early. Yeah, I was off today, playing day off. So we figured with the Rumble, there's going to be a lot to talk about. So we started 10 minutes early. That is why we're here. And then MK also saying, look at Jeff Jarrett and Adam Copeland. Yes, I mean, 80s and 90s.
We can look at Adam Copeland. Let's not look at Jeff Jarrett if we don't have to.
Well, Jeff Jarrett's on fire this year lately. But anyways, 50 years old in the 80s and 90s was way different than it is now. People are staying in shape.
It's completely different. It's a completely different thing now.
I mean, when you saw Harley Race saunter in there in his 50s.
Sting was doing crazy shit in his mid-60s before he retired. Age is seriously just a number in professional wrestling right now. If you're going to go out there and you're going to put your effort in and you're still doing great work, and you're over with the audience, who cares how old you are? Like, that's such a stupid argument to try to diminish someone's accomplishment or their current push because of how old they are.
Yeah, I mean, and like guys like DDP didn't even start till 35, for crying out loud. And DDP is probably part of the reason why you see so many guys in their 50s still looking great, you know? Well, let's we talked about it in generals. Why don't we talk about it now officially here? The Royal Rumble, of course, taking place from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. First time it's happened in February. And, of course, the next time we're going to be in Saudi Arabia. Yay. We're all excited for that, aren't we? Not. But this was kicked off with the ladies in the Royal Rumble here. A great 1 and 2 to begin with Io Sky and Liv Morgan, followed by Roxanne Perez at 3. And my God, all 3 ladies broke the record that was set by Bayley last year. They all went over a minute 5. They were basically all right there together in terms of longevity in the match. Though they only had 4 eliminations combined, man, it's something to say about Io, Liv, and Roxanne for them lasting as long as they did, right, Matt?
Well, the eliminations in the women's Rumble comparable to the men were very weird this year. Like, I noticed they were just letting the ring fill up, and like there weren't really a whole lot of eliminations early on. So
took forever.
Yeah, it explains why the eliminations are a little bit off in terms of stats for the women's Rumble this year. It was very weird. Like, they were at I think 14 people out there, and there was like 1 person eliminated at that rate or something crazy. And I'm just like,
BFAB, I think.
Can y'all start eliminating people? Like, that is the goal of this match. What are y'all doing? It was a little weird the way they laid out the women's Rumble this year. But I won't argue with the end results because
shout out to Liv Morgan, Lyra Valkyria in at number 4 having a wardrobe malfunction. Shout out to Liv Morgan. Kick her in the corner, let the ref help her out, and the other 3 women could continue to work. That was a great move by Liv there to help out Lyra. Your U.S. champion in at number 5, Chelsea Green. BFAB, who's had a very been impressive, been getting better and better in the ring, comes in at 6. Ivy Nile from American Made at 7. Zoe Stark from Pure Fusion Collective in at number 8. Another lady that's really elevated herself at NXT. Probably won't be in NXT much longer. Lash Legend came in at number 9. Did some cool stuff. Bianca Belair, one of the big favorites, in at number 10. Shayna Baszler in at 11, so that gives Pure Fusion Collective a nice little bump. Bayley in at number 12, trying to go back-to-back. Sonya Deville at 13, which completely gives all of Pure Fusion Collective, and they kind of ran it for a while till some women banded together. Maxie Dupree got an elimination. Happy for her. Good to see. Of course, then she got tossed right after that immediately.
Well, they gave her the elimination that would matter. Her
Exactly.
ongoing rivalry with Ivy Nile.
Yep.
Her going in there, she got to showcase herself. She got the Ivy Nile elimination, and that was really all they needed for Maxine in the Rumble this year. But I thought she did a great job with the time she was given.
Another breakout star in NXT this past year. Jada Parker gets an entrant into the Rumble. Piper Niven at 17. Natalya, along with Liv Morgan, continuing their streak at being in every women's Royal Rumble so far. The newest signee, Jordan Grace at 19. Big pop for her. Michin at number 20, but then 21 blew the roof off of Indy. The biggest pop of the night. Alexa Bliss finally coming back to the WWE. A tremendous moment, a tremendous pop. Had to go back and watch that pop a few times just because it was so good. Mentioning the Fiend on the back of her jacket, Fiend Forever, as well as bringing out Lily the doll as well. Some tributes to Bray Wyatt there. So good to see Alexa Bliss back in the WWE, and it came together kind of last minute. She wasn't at the rehearsals on Saturday, I believe, is when they did maybe Friday before.
Thursday and Friday for the rehearsals.
Friday before SmackDown, yeah. But what a great moment to have her back. Glad they got on the same page. A lot of course, Michael Cole was burying PW Insider as well. They're wrong more than right lately, but Sean Ross Sapp did confirm this was put together very last minute. They were correct in their reporting.
Yeah, according to bodyslam.net, this contract was signed 5 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, and she was brought out that day. She ended up taking Shotzi's Rumble spot. So
yeah,
I think that was the right call. No offense to Shotzi, but there's no way she would have gotten the response that Bliss got on Saturday night. So I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, and I like the group with Shotzi and Gigi Dolan and drawing a blank on the other girl, but I kind of like that little group at NXT, so I wouldn't mind keeping them together. Tatum Paxley's the other girl I was trying to think of.
For my understanding, Shotzi's going to be back on the main roster sooner rather than later. So
yeah, Sean Ross Sapp reported she's under a main roster deal. So, I mean, Gigi's a veteran. Tatum is really the only one that doesn't have the experience. You could bring that group as a group together eventually down the line this year, I guess, because obviously Gigi's got a lot of experience, and has been in NXT for quite a while now. Alexa Bliss didn't last too long though, but hey, I'm excited to see if she shows up tonight, maybe to talk, or if she's part of the Wyatt Six.
That was the original plan. I mean, clearly those plans might have shifted, especially since they moved the Wyatt Six to SmackDown, and we haven't seen them since. But apparently that has to do with one of the members of the group currently being injured, which I'm assuming. I'm assuming that it's Uncle Howdy,
which is the key.
Yes, because to me, you could do this stable with the other ones missing, but you need him.
Yeah,
you need his presence. So if he's the one hurt, it makes sense that they're not on TV right now. But if it's not him, I don't understand the reason for their absence at the moment.
Yeah. Zelina Vega in at number 22. I don't know if splitting her from the LWO is a good thing. She barely got a reaction. Candice LeRae,
I believe they're either gonna repair her with Andrade, or she's over there because that's where Aleister Black's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be both. It could be she's going back over there to rejoin with Andrade, and that's where Aleister Black's going to be. Yeah. But she could also be going over there to do something with her husband. I don't know. That would be really cool.
It would.
They've never really done any on-screen interactions before. It would be interesting to see how they would play off of each other on TV if they wanted to go that route.
Definitely. Candice LeRae at 23. Stephanie Vaquer at 24, making her Rumble debut. Trish Stratus at number 25 on her 25th anniversary. That was pretty well done there. Wearing a throwback to the original ring gear that she had when she made her debut as well, when she was with TNA. Test and Albert, that is. Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez at 26. The Queen, Charlotte Flair, making a return at 27. NXT Women's Champion Julia at 28. Nia Jax 29. Nikki Bella, as speculated, making her return at number 30. Nia Jax eliminating a lot of women, which brought it down to the finals. Your final four in this match were obviously Charlotte Flair, the winner, Nikki Bella, but I guess it helps when you're 30 and then Nia Jax eliminates a fuck ton of women and you're not one of them. Nia Jax and Roxanne Perez. Hey, I predicted Roxanne to be in the final four. Did not expect her to be in there an hour and 7 minutes, though. That was very cool. But yes, no surprise that Nia Jax was the most eliminations. I believe breaks the record because I think the previous record was Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler at 8, and Nia Jax had 9 eliminations. Officially, Roxanne Perez 1 hour 7 minutes and 47 seconds. That's more than any man, I think, in a Rumble, isn't it?
Very well might be. I'm not 100% certain of that, but it might be the overall record.
That's even longer than Daniel Bryan in the Greatest Royal Rumble when there was 50 people, I think, because I think he was like an hour and 5. But yeah, that's impressive.
I'm sure if we're wrong, someone in the chat will correct us. So
yeah, I don't think any man's gone a minute and 7 or an hour and 7. A lot of men go a minute and 7.
I was gonna say.
But yeah, second in eliminations was Charlotte with 4, and then the rest were only 2 and 1 for eliminations. Only 2 women had 2 eliminations and a handful with just 1, so they did spread out the eliminations. Of course, it took a while for somebody to get eliminated. Obviously, some great surprises and some great NXT representation here, Matt. But I thought top to bottom, action wise, I thought it was a really good Rumble for the women. It may be up there as one of the best. I don't know if it's the best, but I liked it. I thought it top to bottom. I was interested in the whole thing.
Surprise returns, legends, NXT talent. It really, like I said, it really shows the depth of the women's division in WWE right now across the 3 brands. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really good. Great match there. Good first 2 with kind of a unique, but not a matchup you see all the time with Liv Morgan and Io Sky. But yeah, the first 3 ladies tore the house down, man. That was a tremendous effort by those ladies. No surprise, Charlotte Flair winning and most likely going to face Tiffany Stratton. Everybody bitching that Charlotte won, but yet everybody wanted to see Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte in a feud. So quit bitching when you're going to bitch when they're getting what you want. So it's just baffling.
I mean, as long as Tiffany wins, I'm good with it.
That too.
To me, this cannot be a match that Charlotte wins. So as long as Tiffany wins at WrestleMania, I'm absolutely fine with Charlotte winning this Rumble.
Yeah, I hope to God that she doesn't win. Yeah,
that would be really bad.
Gunther went an hour and 11.
Oh, there you go.
Before getting eliminated by Cody Rhodes.
I told you someone in the chat would tell us that we were wrong.
They probably wanted to erase the Daniel Bryan thing, even though that was like 50 people or 40 people. Or I can't remember how many fucking people were in that dumb thing. But yeah,
it was either 40 or 50. I can't remember either.
Well, there was the 40 one where Alberto Del Rio
won. We came down to Del Rio and Santino, arguably, probably the worst Royal Rumble ever. So yeah.
But this dropped earlier, and I made this joke with Matt. Of course, it's been announced that Charlotte Flair and Andrade are getting divorced. Her 3rd divorce. So I said, yeah, she's trying to break her dad's record in more than just championships, apparently. I was surprised at that one. So
I'm not making any jokes over people's personal lives.
So Brian was an hour and 16 on that thing.
I don't know what happened. I'm sad for both of them. Hopefully they're both still friends. And if they're not still friends, WWE better make sure they're on separate brands as soon as freaking possible. Because right now, as far as I can tell, they're both going to be on SmackDown. So,
yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully they're on good terms.
Part of being in the WWE is being professional. So next up, the 2 out of 3 Falls Tag Team Championship match. This was disappointing. I don't know. For a 2 out of 3 Falls match between two epic teams, only go 14 minutes. I thought
Imagine how
this
much
was
more time matches like this could get if there weren't an hour's worth of commercials throughout the entire premium live event. I'm just saying.
But were you
The amount
in
of
agreement?
the amount of commercials in these events have are borderline excessive at this point.
You in agreement though? That was kind of an underwhelming match with those two.
To me, it was going to be underwhelming no matter what because they gave away the finish on SmackDown the night before.
Yeah.
By letting DIY get pinned by one of the machine guns on Friday night, I immediately knew there was going to be no title change, and it immediately took away all the investment I had in that match on Saturday. It was an absolutely terrible decision by WWE to book the match the way they did on Friday, and it killed all the momentum that match had on Saturday.
Under under the Triple H regime, you kind of hope that maybe they don't telegraph it that way because that's how Vince would always book it. The guy came out on top on the go home show, he's losing at the pay-per-view. Hopefully Triple H mixes that up a little more.
It's a wrestling trope that I really want to see die.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later. I can't stand that trope. I hate it. It's a terrible crutch that almost every wrestling company utilizes. And I would love to see a company just do away with it. I would love to see a challenger get over on a champion on a go home show and then go on to that pay-per-view that weekend and win the title.
They have momentum. It makes sense.
Yeah, freaking change it up. Like, make people guess, but don't make things foregone conclusions anymore. They do more things like what they did with Jey Uso on Saturday, like across all companies. Like, you don't always have to go by the book. Think outside the box, change some things up, make people surprised, make people regret not tuning in live because something unpredictable happened.
Yeah, that is kind of odd. The Street Profits doing it. I'm assuming they're going to be probably the next tag team champions because it's been long overdue. But yeah, that was a little surprise.
I'm definitely assuming they're planning on putting the titles on the Street Profits. I'm assuming that their explanation for their interference is going to be DIY are the ones who put us out, so they're the ones we want to take the titles away from, which will then set them up on a feud with the Machine Guns after they take the titles. So, I'm definitely assuming that Dawkins and Ford are getting those titles sooner rather than later.
Next up, ladder match for the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens. My God, this was a tremendous match. It's been a tremendous feud as well. Some insane spots, including the very end, that Alabama slam through the ladder to end it. The way Kevin Owens landed, it just was brutal. There's a couple spots that brought Sami Zayn out and Nick Aldis out and a bunch of referees and officials checking on Kevin. And as soon as I saw Sami Zayn, I thought, uh-oh, the fix is in. But it never happened, did it, Matt?
It would have been nice if the fix would have been in because, again, that would have been something else that would have been unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because there's fantasy booking situations that would have resulted in KO winning Saturday, but nobody truly thought Cody was losing that belt. Honestly, they would have been better off letting KO win that title at Saturday Night's main event. They would have had a big moment in December.
Yeah.
And then Cody could have won it back at the Rumble. Like, that would have been fine. Like, these long, dated title changes for, they've held it for so many days. Who cares? It would have made Saturday Night's main event a must-see event right off the bat by changing the WWE Championship. Cody could have won it back at the Rumble, become a two-time WWE champion, and then go on the road to WrestleMania that way. Like, to me, it was kind of a waste of time for this feud from Saturday Night's main event to Royal Rumble because you knew damn well Kevin wasn't winning this match. And those are the kind of things I would just like to see wrestling in general change up this year and going forward. Just Give me a little more unpredictability. Surprise me. Do things that people aren't expecting. I think that's the key to keeping your audience engaged on a weekly basis and bringing in new fans in the process.
Yeah, and if you had KO win that and at the Rumble, if you would have had him win on this on Saturday, and then that could really set up something that was really kind of planted on SmackDown the night before with him and Punk. That would be a fun WrestleMania build, I think, between those two guys.
I think Kevin Owens and Jey Uso would have been extremely interesting as well.
Makes sense.
They didn't go that route. So
or Sammy winning the chamber, and it could have been an interesting thing too. Even though he helped his buddy, maybe he did it all for himself, finally playing for himself, as everybody and their dog is telling him backstage in these segments. Gotta quit worrying about others. But instead, he worried about Owens, didn't get involved in the match. I thought it was a foregone conclusion when he came out that he was going to screw Cody. Kind of surprised me there. But all that said, a damn good title match, ladder match, damn good. Lots of brutal spots, and I thought these guys did very well in what had turned into a very good feud. No Orton, like a lot of people thought might have been back. Orton did not come back at all on Saturday.
He's another one. He's like Becky at the moment. Do they really need him right now?
No,
like if they don't have a solid plan for him for a WrestleMania, don't rush him back right now.
I think it's gonna be KO and Orton at WrestleMania, and I think Orton might come back for the Chamber. He might be one of the 6 men. KO might be one of the 6 men as well, and that could obviously KO wrote Randy off, and if they're both in the Chamber, that is going to kind of ignite that feud again, because Randy's going to want to go after Kevin. So I think that might be a WrestleMania match, in my opinion. Just makes sense. And then obviously
it would be fine.
And you got Cody and Cena, but yeah, Kevin is also like 0-6 in world title matches at Mania or at Royal Rumble.
At the Royal Rumble, which made the loss all the more predictable.
Just the Royal Rumble, he is 0-6 in world title matches.
Yeah, who's the guy we can quickly have lose at the Rumble on the road to WrestleMania? Oh, Kevin, you're up.
Yeah, our workhorse. Steven Chambers in the chat. What's next for Cody? Yeah, I would expect him to sit out the Chamber. I don't think there would be a title match shoehorned in there.
Well, storyline wise, they noted after the pay-per-view over the weekend that Cody was dealing with multiple injuries, but would still be on SmackDown on Friday. So,
I mean, that match is going to be for him. I would assume he's going to take the night off. He may even be at ringside for the festivities to stare down his opponent for WrestleMania. I would assume he takes the night off. Just my humble opinion. You're going to have 2 chamber matches, which, just like the Rumble, is going to take up most of the time.
And Cena being there is going to sell that event anyway.
Absolutely. And that's going to close the show. So,
yeah.
Cody and Orton is right there, but Orton's a babyface. Orton's going to go after KO. I don't see Cody and Orton at all.
To me, Cody and Orton at the Elimination Chamber is a complete and utter waste of time. If you're gonna pull the trigger on Cody and Orton, you do it at a WrestleMania or you do it at a SummerSlam or something like that. You don't do it at a random ass Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, and no R-Truth either. That was kind of a bummer, but
technically Tozawa got Archer's spot in terms of what they would have done with him. So
true.
It's probably better for him that he didn't get that spot.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well. Next up is the men's Royal Rumble. We start off with 2 Lucha legends, Rey Mysterio and Penta. That was a good choice for 1 and 2. And then you throw Gable in, who's had his problems with luchadors. I thought that was funny, throwing him in at number 3. I thought they should just kept throwing the luchadors out. They did it 5 with Santos, but 4 was Carmelo Hayes. Then Ortiz came out.
The way they treat Carmelo Hayes, they probably think he's a luchador.
Oh Lord, Yeah,
So,
Carmelo's young though. Give him time.
Yeah, but by the time they finally decide that they want to push him, the fans are already going to view him as a complete and utter joke that shouldn't be a top card guy on the main roster. Like, honestly, the way that they've utilized Carmelo since he's come up, like, he would have been better off just staying in NXT.
Yeah.
It's been bad. And if I'm Trick, I'm not in any rush to come up to Raw or SmackDown right now. And if I'm looking at the way that they've booked Mello since he's been up there, if I'm Trick, I'm like, yeah, you know what? You want me to feud with Oba for another 6 months? We can do that.
Well, now they're kind of doing it. They're kind of. This is why I think Trick wasn't at the Rumble, though. I would have
He
loved
was
to
there.
see.
He just wasn't used.
Yeah, it wasn't. I would have loved to see 70,000 fans yell and whoop that Trick. That'd have been a great moment. And that moment will come eventually. But they're kind of changing gears with him now. He's kind of being more of a kind of a pissed off maniac at NXT. So maybe they're switching gears with him on NXT now, and maybe this kind of gives him more life at NXT where he's actually done about everything you can do at this point. Maybe this new kind of different kind of Trick.
Well, the problem with the NXT roster right now is, as deep as the women's division is down there, their men's division is paper thin.
Yeah, how many NXT wrestlers are on the?
Anytime they take a man away from that roster right now, it is a massive, massive hole that they don't have anybody to fill in at the moment. So,
how many NXT men were in the men's Rumble?
Zero. Miro.
Braun Breaker at 7, followed by Akira Tozawa. Wait, he gets attacked by Carmelo. I show speed, so I groaned until Braun Breaker just destroyed the fuck out of him. I laughed. That was up. And then when he got tossed over that table, I guess he got a big chunk taken out of his legs. So welcome to the WWE, pal. That spear, though. That spear. That was one of the moments of the match. I loved it. Sheamus in at 9. Jimmy Uso, Big Jim at 10. Followed by Andrade, then Jacob Fatu. The crowd is hot for him. He's been on fire lately, been doing some great promo work without Solo there. I honestly wonder if Jacob and Solo is a Mania match in the making coming up, because Jacob's realizing we don't need you. You've been gone for a month after pouting when they booed you. Well, me and Tom have been kicking ass and taking names. Well, mainly Jacob, but Tom is there going, yeah. Jacob, Jesus Christ, that guy's a star. If he's not a world,
I hated the way he was eliminated.
Yeah, if he's not a world champion,
that was one of the things about the Rumble, the men's Rumble. I think that annoyed me more than anything else was
Strowman getting his
the Strowman elimination, because he tossed like he was nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even like a deserved elimination. Like, no, you just were tossing you now. You're gone. And I'm just like, really? That's how you follow up Jacob from that Saturday Night's Main Event spot? You have him lose the tag match on SmackDown, and then you have him tossed out like that in the Rumble? Not smart. Not smart.
Not when he's one of the hottest products in the company right now.
Yeah.
Andrade.
Protect your hot talents, man. Protect them.
Number 13, Ludwig Kaiser, I believe, was the anti-Iron Man. Yes, 6 seconds for Ludwig Kaiser.
Oh, wow.
The anti-Iron Man. Oh, well, you gotta get consoled by Tiffany Stratton. I'm crying for you.
He's not someone that they're overly protecting right now anyway, so he could eat something like that.
Miz at 14, and then say his name, and he appears. Joe Hendry. God, the cameraman fucked up on the Joe Hendry turnaround. Come on. Do you not know Joe Hendry's gimmick?
He should have been in the Rumble longer too.
Yeah, he was barely a minute.
The fact that he didn't get his moment to be in the ring with John Cena, I think is kind of criminal on WWE's standpoint, because he's been asking for that for like 6 or 7 months now, and they had a really easy opportunity to do it in this Rumble, and they just tossed him instead.
Yeah,
very weird, man. Very weird.
Joe Hendry only lasted 3.5 minutes. I thought it was less.
Yeah.
So
it felt like less. The 3.5 ain't that impressive either.
Yeah, and the reason why Joe Hendry did not last long was number 16, Roman Reigns. Now the beef is starting to come into the ring. The big dogs, the betting favorites, Drew McIntyre at 17, Finn Balor. Nobody recognized that music, so it was like the second time they ever used that music. I think they used it on Raw the week before, and that was when they debuted it. So no pop for him.
I didn't recognize it at all. I thought it was the first time.
They used it once on Raw.
Didn't even remember it.
Yeah. They need to, though they are doing better with music now, they need to go back to Balor's original theme, but he's not a baby face, so I guess that's probably why they're not doing it. Shinsuke Nakamura, your United States champion at 19, followed by main event Jey Uso. AJ Styles making his return at 21 with his old music. Thank God. Strowman at 22. John Cena, big pop, of course, because we're saying goodbye to him. His final Royal Rumble appearance at number 23. Punk at 24, Rollins at 25, Dom at 26, Sammy at 27, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Logan Paul. And of course, there is, the news that came out that Drew McIntyre stormed out, pissed off that somebody had to get their spots in. According to a lot of people that are thinking about it, they think it's LA Knight, but I think what had happened is just what can happen in any Rumble. There's so many goddamn bodies in there. It's a cluster, so you're going to run into some people. What is speculated is that either Drew mistimed it, because he wanted his finish or his elimination to be a big deal, and either he mistimed it or LA Knight and Logan Paul went too long with their fight, bumped into each other, and it according to him, ruined the moment. But anyways, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the whole reporting there?
I don't know, man. I don't think, as hot as Drew was last year, I don't know if a WrestleMania match with Damian Priest is the way to go. No. Like I know you can use the storyline, well, Priest cashed in on McIntyre at WrestleMania last year and blah blah blah, and it's just I don't know, man. Like, I like both of those guys, but I don't like them together. If that makes sense. Like, maybe I'd like this match on like an Elimination Chamber event or something. I'm not, just the thought of McIntyre and Priest at WrestleMania doesn't do anything for me right now. And like, obviously a good story leading up to Mania can change that. But right now I'm cold. I'm cold on that match right now.
Yeah. What about him being mad backstage?
Look, if they screwed up your spot to kickstart your WrestleMania feud, those things are very important in the Royal Rumble. You plan out those spots, and it's basically everything that stems off of your road to WrestleMania, and it gets screwed up. Yeah, I don't blame him for being heated. I don't know if I'd have stormed out of the building and went home. But that's his prerogative. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. And, he's been mad before and he gets over it. So just a heat of the moment type of deal. And you can, reignite that thing on SmackDown this Friday and maybe right the wrong and start things off on a, a major foot to start that feud off possibly. But yeah, I don't know if LA Knight's going to be in any heat over it. You said you thought Logan Paul was the first guy to be mentioned, and then that got refuted. So obviously, the other guy.
I never said Logan Paul.
Oh, I thought you told me when I asked you. I thought you said you thought it was Logan Paul, but then.
No, I never said that.
Oh, Sean Ross Sapp said that, and then he refuted. He said people thought it was Logan Paul, and then he said no, it was not Logan Paul. So
as far as I'm aware, there's no heat on Knight.
I wouldn't think so.
But I mean, just because there's no heat on him with some people, don't mean there's no heat on him with other people.
Yeah, so, not everybody can be friends. So
yeah. that is the wrestling business after all.
Right. Your final four was CM Punk, Logan Paul, John Cena, Jey Uso. I thought Jey Uso and Cena had a great final two. They went a few minutes, and I thought there was some great drama there, especially on the apron at the end. But my God, when Jay slipped out of that AA and drop kicked him, and both those feet touched the floor, I was just like, I let out a scream. And I'm here by myself, and I let out a whoa. I was just floored at what happened. You know, we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but my God, props to Triple H for swerving us on this one, and for a guy that has deserved it.
And props to anybody. Props to anybody who had the nuts to drop some money on the betting sites on Jey Uso on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, what were they again?
He was a plus 2,000.
Man, if you put a 10 spot on that,
the
you
Rumble,
came out with 200.
If you would have thrown $100 down on Jey Uso,
$2,000.
You would have walked. Yeah, you would have left with $2,000 on Saturday night. So I'm just saying, damn man. Like look, if you're within the inner circle wall of WWE, and you knew that Jay was winning, I don't blame you for 1 second if you dropped like $1,000 down on Jey Uso, dropped the bet a couple hours before the show. I probably would have done the same thing. I'm just saying, if I knew for 100% certainty on Saturday afternoon that Jey Uso was winning and he was a plus 2,000 underdog, I'd have dropped a big chunk of change.
It's like Marty with the Gray Sports Almanac.
Yeah,
Marty with the Gray Sports Almanac. Man.
Yeah, a big chunk of change would have been dropped by me on Jey Uso on Saturday afternoon had I known that he was going to win that match.
One of the cooler moments of the evening was after Logan Paul eliminated CM Punk, Rollins, and Reigns brawled on the outside, which makes me think that there might be not Rollins and Roman, it may be a triple threat. I'm not going to hate
I think it will start as Rollins versus Roman, and Punk's going to cash in his favor with Heyman to get in that match and make it a triple threat.
You'd cash in for that?
Because they could make that match a main event if they wanted to.
Night one.
And he wants the main event of WrestleMania. So I could see them doing that.
So that could be a night one main event, and then eventually Punk gets the night two main event by winning the Rumble or Chamber next year, maybe. Yeah, because I mean, if Cena's going to win the Chamber, you didn't think Cena would be in it just to save his body, especially with him.
Yeah, I'm very surprised he's taking this risk.
Now that it's going in there, you know, this triple threat would be tremendous, man. We've seen some good triple threats at Mania. I don't know if you know the answer to this, so I'm gonna try to quiz you because this kind of surprised me. Do you know who the Iron Man was for men's Royal Rumble?
Penta?
Yeah.
Which technically doesn't count because both of his feet touched the floor like 30 minutes earlier.
But the fact that they didn't
I digress.
The fact that they didn't replay that tells you both feet hit the floor.
There were images all over online with both of his feet on the floor. So
the fact they didn't replay that tells you that
if they had an angle that made it look like only one hit, I guarantee you they'd have replayed it like 15 times.
Yep.
They didn't have one.
Yep. Roman Reigns second at 37-15. Main event, Jey Uso, your winner at 36-59. John Cena lasting the fourth longest at over 30 minutes. So Jey Uso was 20. I wonder if anybody's won from 20 before. Going to.
I mean, it's a decent number. I could see somebody winning from that before.
No,
I'm not saying
first
they have.
time.
Oh,
first
there you
time.
Go.
Wow, first time.
Another nice surprise.
All right, here's the numbers
first time number winner.
Here are the numbers that have not won. I'm only going to 30. I'm not doing the bullshit greatest Royal Rumble stupid shit.
I'm sure there's a ton of numbers that haven't won at this point.
4.
Really? There's only 4 left?
No. Number 4.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, that's wild.
6 and 7. 9. 11 and 12. 17, 21, and the latest number to never win a Rumble, 26. But yes, 20, only done by Jey Uso. So yeah, there's still a few numbers out there, but 30 being the most now. And remember the longest time when 30 was never the winner?
Yeah, they changed that up with the quickness.
2007 was the first time 30 won finally, and now they've done it 5 times. That's the record. 27 used to be the longest record. Nobody's won the Rumble from 27 since 2001. Your anti-Iron Man besides Ludwig Kaiser was ISO speed at 56 seconds. Braun Strowman at 2 minutes. Braun Strowman was only there for 2 minutes, but he got 2 eliminations.
Waste of time.
Yep.
They should have Jacob toss his ass right out. And if they wanted Braun to like have a fit and like grab Jacob and yank him over the top rope and then brawl to the back, I mean, I would have been much more accepting of something like that than the way that they tossed out Jacob.
Most eliminations went to 2 guys. Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns with 4. Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, and John Cena each had 3. Strowman, Priest, Paul, and Punk had 2. Then the rest were 1 or less. So Fatu eliminating 4. You almost got to think he's got to be one of the favorites for 2026. Just as how he's been looking. And
let's see how they utilize him on the road to WrestleMania this year before we put the cart before the horse there.
Giddy up. All right. That's going to do it for Lost the Midcard this week. It is almost time for Raw on Netflix, which I don't know. Have they even put out a preview yet? They have. CM Punk versus Sami Zayn in a chamber qualifying match.
That's interesting.
Io Sky and Liv Morgan in a chamber qualifying match. Jey Uso appears and Charlotte Flair appears. Any last words on the Rumble? I thought it was a great, fun night. Tag match.
Enjoyable show. I hope they follow up strong with Raw tonight, and we'll see where the road to WrestleMania goes from there.
All right, we're going to send you guys to Netflix. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning into Lost the Midcard.